Hello everyone, happy Friday Eve. I have a random thought for you to start this Thursday, November 21st. Why in the world is the plural of goose geese, but the plural of moose isn't meese? And why is the plural of mouse mice, but the plural of house is not heis? I'm Coy Wire, this is CNN 10. Let's get this show on the road. We start today with news of 45 people who were sentenced to prison after being convicted of conspiracy to commit subversion, which is an attempt to overthrow or undermine the power and authority of an established system or institution, especially a government or political system. This has all taken place in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China. The 45 defendants, which include well-known lawmakers, activists, unionists, and journalists, received sentences ranging from 50 months to 10 years. They included Hong Kong's best-known pro-democracy figures, including Joshua Wong, a former student leader who became the poster child for the movement. Wong reportedly shouted, "I love Hong Kong," before he was escorted out of the dock after his sentencing. This is the single biggest blow to the city of Hong Kong since the Chinese government issued a national security law 4 years ago, which was in response to anti-government protests that took over the city for months in 2019. CNN's Ivan Watson has more.
45 defendants who've all been convicted. The combined jail sentences that were issued today amount to more than 240 years in prison, more than 2 centuries that have now been handed down to these 45 defendants, the majority of whom pled guilty to the charges against them in an effort to try to reduce the sentences. They were convicted of conspiracy to commit subversion. The judges said that had this scheme been carried out to the very end, quote, the adverse consequences would be far-reaching and no less serious than overthrowing the government. The scheme that is being discussed was an unofficial primary election conducted by these opposition politicians and activists in July of 2020. And that is part of what the prosecutors alleged was a scheme to effectively bring down the government here. So all of these defendants were arrested en masse in January of 2021, and most of them have been behind bars ever since then. The critics, which include Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, they say this is part of a broader crackdown on democratic freedoms that the city used to enjoy. Hong Kong used to witness large, mostly peaceful street protests and demonstrations and airing of political different views and criticisms. That is no longer tolerated in the city. If somebody tries to put up a sign, they will very quickly be spirited away by law enforcement.
We now go to the west coast of the United States and parts of British Columbia and Canada, which are dealing with a bomb cyclone. What's a bomb cyclone? Also called a bombogenesis. It's the rapid intensification of a cyclone in a short period of time, and it can happen during powerful storms. The folks are also dealing with the effects of an atmospheric river. At the same time, these two phenomena are combining to bring hurricane-force winds and heavy rain. A storm of this magnitude only occurs in this region about once in a decade and can cause major flooding. It can dump feet of snow and lead to power outages. To explain what an atmospheric river is and how events like this happen, here's our Derek Van Dam.
Atmospheric rivers are long, concentrated regions in the atmosphere that can transport moisture thousands of miles. They usually carry water vapor from the tropics to the mid-latitudes and can trigger extreme precipitation events around the world. For example, the Pineapple Express atmospheric river carries moisture from the tropics near Hawaii to the US and Canada's west coast. Atmospheric rivers can lead to extreme rainfall, flooding, and mudslides. These rivers in the sky can transport the equivalent of as much as 25 times the amount of water that flows through the actual Mississippi River. Most are weaker systems that offer beneficial rain and snow, but the stronger atmospheric river events across the western U.S. can lead to over $1 billion a year in flood damage.
10-second trivia about how many plastic straws do Americans use each day? 20,000, 100,000, 1 million, or 500 million? The correct answer is 500 million. That's how many drinking straws Americans use each day, according to the National Park Service and earthday.org. Just to give you an idea, 500 million straws daily could fill up 125 school buses each day. We all know that trash and waste can pile up, and littering, well, that can just yuck a place up. We're gonna go check out a place where garbage has gotten so out of hand, there's so much of it in the Democratic Republic of the Congo that there are mounds of it floating in a lake, blocking a dam that creates electricity for the region. Now there are power outages, local businesses are being impacted. CNN's Victoria Rubadiri explains why and how this is happening.
A sea of garbage atop a lake on the border of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. It's unsightly and a problem with a ripple effect for families and businesses alike. Plastic bottles, gas cans, and other trash collect at the bottom and on the surface of the water, clogging this hydroelectric dam and keeping water from properly entering its channels, limiting the amount of pressure and speed needed for this electric company's machines to power the region.
We are forced to shut down the machines and start removing the waste, clearing the grates. And when we stop the machines, power outages also occur.
Waste management issues, intensified by heavy rainfall, cause people's abandoned trash to end up in the lake. Those mounds of garbage can have drastic consequences.
If they leave the waste lying in a street, in the gutters, it ends up in the Ruizi Dam. And this creates a lot of difficulties for us.
As power outages plague the region, small businesses suffer. These welders feel the pressure as production slows, confused and frustrated by the sporadic electricity in their workshop.
People tell us the power is out because of plastic bottles, but we don't know what to do about these bottles. If only there were a way to clear out these bottles so we could have electricity.
Officials say there could be a way if individual homes pick up waste. Authorities say waste companies could then collect it and bring it to a disposal site. But for now, it's only an idea, one that may prove crucial in tackling the region's pollution problem.
Today's story getting a 10 out of 10. Some rocket-building college students from the University of Southern California just broke an international amateur record. Their Aftershock 2 went soaring up out of the Earth's atmosphere higher than any other amateur-built rocket before. CNN's Jeremy Roth takes us to see the moment.
Watch a student-built rocket reach dizzying heights and, according to its creators, break a world record in the process. The rocket, named the Aftershock 2, was designed and built by the student-run USC Rocket Propulsion Lab at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering. The group took their creation to a testing site in Black Rock Desert, Nevada, where they let it rip, sending the student-built rocket soaring at Mach 5.5 speed past the so-called Kármán line, the boundary separating Earth's atmosphere from space. According to the school, the rocket reached a staggering 470,000 feet of altitude, smashing the previous international amateur record by a whopping 90,000 feet, which would mean the Aftershock 2 soared further into space than any non-governmental and non-commercial group has ever flown before.
All right, rock stars, our shout out today goes to some of our friends in Los Angeles, California, who absolutely rock it. Miss Rabina's class at King Middle School in the City of Angels. Keep shining bright, everyone. Thanks to all of you for spending some time with us today. You are more powerful than you know. I'm Coy Wire. I'll see you right back here tomorrow on CNN 10.